Hey everyone, today I'm diving into a topic that's crucial for understanding how our economy works: tariffs. So, what exactly is a tariff? A tariff is essentially a tax imposed by the government on goods and services imported from another country. Think of it as a way to regulate foreign trade, generate revenue, protect local industries, or even influence political situations. Now there are two main types of tariffs. The specific tariff, which is a fixed fee on a specific item, like say, $500 for every imported car. Then there's the Ad-Valorem Tariff, which is a percentage of the item's value, such as 5% of the import's price. So, why do governments impose tariffs? Well, there are a few key reasons. First up, revenue generation. Historically, tariffs were a major source of government income before income taxes came into play. Then there's protecting domestic industries. By making imported goods more expensive, tariffs help local products stay competitive, shielding our businesses from foreign competition. Tariffs can also serve as consumer protection, discouraging the purchase of goods that might be harmful or produced under less stringent regulations abroad. And let's not forget political leverage. Tariffs can be used to influence foreign countries on big issues like trade, immigration, or even geopolitical conflicts. But here's the catch. While tariffs aim to benefit domestic industries, they often lead to higher prices for consumers and businesses. Importers usually pass on the added costs to consumers, which makes goods more expensive. Economists generally see tariffs as inefficient and potentially harmful to economic growth. They can disrupt supply chains and provoke retaliatory measures from other countries. In summary, tariffs are a complex policy tool with both economic and political implications. They can protect local industries but may also burden consumers and hinder international trade efficiency. If you found this breakdown helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe for more insights on how our economy works. Let's dive deeper into the history of tariffs. Tariffs have been used for centuries as a tool for economic policy. In the early days of the United States, tariffs were a primary source of revenue for the federal government. They played a crucial role in protecting nascent industries from foreign competition. Over time, the role of tariffs has evolved, but they remain a significant aspect of international trade policy. In the 18th and 19th centuries, tariffs were pivotal in shaping the economic landscape of young America. The Tariff Act of 1789 was one of the first major pieces of legislation passed by the newly formed United States government. Its primary purpose was to generate revenue to pay off war debts and fund essential government operations. But it wasn't just about revenue. These early tariffs were also designed to protect emerging American industries like textile manufacturing from established European competitors. Fast forward to the 20th century, and tariffs continued to be a hot-button issue. The Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act of 1930 is one of the most infamous examples. Intended to protect American farmers and manufacturers during the Great Depression, it instead exacerbated economic woes by sparking a trade war. Other countries retaliated with their own tariffs, leading to a significant decline in international trade and worsening the global economic crisis. By the mid-20th century, the rise of globalization and international trade agreements began to shift the focus away from protectionist tariffs. Organizations like the World Trade Organization (WTO) and treaties such as the General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade (GATT) aimed to reduce tariffs and promote free trade. The idea was to create a more interconnected global economy which in theory would benefit all participating nations. Today, tariffs still play a role in international trade policy, but their application is more strategic and often linked to broader economic or political goals. For instance, tariffs can be used as a negotiating tool in trade agreements or as a way to penalize countries for unfair trade practices. Understanding the historical context of tariffs helps us appreciate their complex role in shaping economic policies and international relations. They are not just tools for revenue or protection, they are instruments that have influenced the course of history. If you enjoyed this historical exploration, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the fascinating world of economic policy. Now, let's explore the impact of tariffs on different sectors of the economy. For instance, the agricultural sector often faces significant challenges due to tariffs. Farmers may find it harder to export their products, leading to surplus and lower prices domestically. On the other hand, tariffs on imported agricultural products can help local farmers by reducing competition. However, it's not just agriculture that feels the impact. The manufacturing sector is also significantly affected. For example, tariffs on imported raw materials can increase production costs for manufacturers, which may lead to higher prices for consumers. Conversely, tariffs on finished goods can protect domestic manufacturers from foreign competition, potentially preserving jobs in the industry. The technology sector is another area where tariffs play a crucial role. High tariffs on electronic components can disrupt supply chains and increase production costs, affecting everything from smartphones to computers. On the flip side, tariffs on finished tech products can encourage domestic innovation and production, fostering growth within the sector. Finally, the consumer sector is directly impacted by tariffs. Higher tariffs on imported goods often translate to higher prices for everyday items from clothing to electronics. This can lead to reduced consumer spending, which in turn can affect overall economic growth. In summary, tariffs have far-reaching effects across various sectors of the economy. While they can offer protection and support to certain industries, they can also lead to higher costs and economic challenges in others. Understanding these sector-specific impacts is crucial for comprehending the broader implications of tariff policies. If you found this analysis insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth explorations of economic policies and their real-world effects. Another important aspect to consider is the global trade environment. Tariffs can lead to trade wars, where countries retaliate by imposing their own tariffs. This can escalate quickly, affecting global supply chains and leading to economic uncertainty. Trade wars aren't just theoretical. History provides us with several notable examples. One of the most famous trade wars occurred during the Great Depression. The Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act of 1930 led to a series of retaliatory tariffs by other nations, severely impacting global trade and exacerbating the economic downturn. More recently, the US-China trade war, which began in 2018, saw both countries imposing tariffs on each other's goods. This conflict disrupted supply chains, increased costs for businesses, and generated uncertainty in financial markets worldwide. Trade wars also have significant geopolitical implications. They can strain diplomatic relations, lead to shifts in global alliances, and even contribute to conflicts. For instance, the trade tensions between the US and the European Union have affected cooperation on various international issues. In addition to economic and geopolitical impacts, trade wars can have social consequences. Higher prices for goods can reduce consumer spending, leading to lower economic growth and potentially increasing unemployment rates. Understanding the historical context and potential outcomes of trade wars is essential for policymakers and businesses alike. It highlights the importance of diplomatic negotiations and the need for balanced trade policies that consider both domestic and global impacts. If you found this analysis insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth explorations of economic policies and their real-world effects. While individual countries wield significant power through their tariff policies, international organizations also play a crucial role in regulating and mediating these economic instruments. One of the most prominent of these organizations is the World Trade Organization, or WTO. Established in 1995, the WTO aims to facilitate smooth international trade by setting consistent rules and resolving disputes between member countries. The WTO operates on a framework of agreements that are negotiated and signed by the bulk of the world's trading nations. These agreements provide the legal ground rules for international commerce, ensuring that trade flows as smoothly, predictably, and freely as possible. When a country believes that another member is violating trade rules, it can bring the issue to the WTO's dispute resolution system. This system is designed to be impartial and efficient, offering a structured process for resolving trade conflicts. For example, during the US-China trade war, several disputes were brought before the WTO, highlighting the organization's role as a mediator in high-stakes economic conflicts. While not all disputes result in a clear resolution, the process itself provides a platform for dialogue and negotiation. Beyond dispute resolution, the WTO also works to reduce tariffs and other trade barriers through multilateral negotiations. These negotiations aim to create a more level playing field for all member countries, benefiting both developed and developing economies. However, the effectiveness of the WTO has been a subject of debate. Critics argue that the organization struggles to enforce its rulings and that its decision-making processes can be slow and cumbersome. Additionally, some countries occasionally bypass the WTO framework, opting for bilateral or regional trade agreements instead. Despite these challenges, the WTO remains a cornerstone of the international trade system. Its efforts to promote transparency, fairness, and stability in global trade are essential for mitigating the risks associated with tariffs and trade wars. Understanding the role of international organizations like the WTO helps us appreciate the complex web of factors that influence global trade dynamics. It underscores the importance of cooperation and dialogue in creating a balanced and equitable trade environment. If you found this analysis insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth explorations of economic policies and their real-world effects. Finally, we'll look at the future of tariffs in a rapidly changing global economy. With the rise of digital trade and new economic powers, the landscape of international trade is shifting. The traditional goods-based trade is being complemented, and sometimes overshadowed, by digital services and e-commerce. This shift presents new challenges and opportunities for tariff policies worldwide. For instance, how do you apply tariffs to software, digital content, or even cloud services that cross borders seamlessly? These questions are becoming increasingly relevant as technology advances and economies become more interconnected. Additionally, emerging economic powers like India and Brazil are reshaping the global trade dynamics. These countries are not just participants but are becoming key players, influencing tariff policies and trade agreements. Their growing influence could lead to a more multipolar trade system, where power is distributed among several key economies rather than dominated by a few. Another critical factor is the increasing emphasis on sustainability and ethical trade practices. Future tariff policies may increasingly incorporate environmental and social considerations, potentially leading to tariffs on goods that have high carbon footprints or are produced under unethical labor conditions. Furthermore, the role of international organizations like the WTO will continue to evolve. As the global trade environment becomes more complex, these organizations will need to adapt their frameworks and dispute resolution mechanisms to stay relevant. In conclusion, the future of tariffs will be shaped by technological advancements, shifting economic powers, and a greater focus on sustainability. Understanding these trends will be crucial for businesses, policymakers, and consumers alike. Stay tuned as we continue to explore the ever-changing world of global trade. If you found this analysis insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth explorations of economic policies and their real-world effects. Thanks for watching.